Have you ever felt distracted by the constant barrage of instant gratification tool that we all have around our disposal? I mean, think about it. We have social media, Netflix, pornography, all of these things that does not allow us to get to the goal that we really truly want to achieve. And well, this is where monk mode comes along. So what is monk mode exactly? It's kind of a practice where you take yourself out of all of these distractions. That includes technology, TV, social media, and really just deep dive focus, taking all kinds of sacrifices in order for you to get to your goals. And when I'm saying sacrifices, I mean some pretty big ones. Yeah, sure, digital entertainment can be cut off and you're not really missing out on much, but sometimes you gotta cut out social connections, events, or any other really social opportunities. But I went on this journey as a monk, basically, for several months, and wow, it has been an experience, that's to say the least. And I kind of want to broadcast and kind of give a bit about what I've learned about it. And just a quick summary right away, I'm not gonna say it is the optimal, best way to go about life. If you're definitely looking to achieve your goals, and you're gonna do absolutely anything to get to them, monk mode might be the thing that you're looking for. And monk mode isn't something that is necessarily meant for everybody. I'll tell you that right now. But let's get to it. What is really good about delving in this kind of routine? Obviously, by using monk mode, you basically take out all kinds of distractions. And I mean all kinds. Like you're literally just focused from day to night to achieving the goals that you are looking to achieve. As a man, you wouldn't be going out there talking to girls. As a woman, you wouldn't be talking to men. You wouldn't be going out frequently. Yes, you are still going to maybe go out from a couple of time to time, maybe with family, maybe with really high quality people, but it's very rare to encounter people. And usually you're going to be by yourself focusing on what you gotta do. So of course, if you're looking to focus on your fitness goals, career goals, you will get to where you want to be much faster. All of your energy and time and effort is all put into this task. And obviously in turn, that increases the hell out of your productivity. When I was doing this, I was shocked at how much I can get done through the day. Really, when all I can do is sleep, eat, or work, it doesn't leave me much options for distractions. And everything I practically do is productive in one sense. Sleeping and eating and drinking will be a fuel to keep going on the stuff I'm working on. Another benefit to be in monk mode is spirituality. Really, it's great to have some time by yourself. You're always just distracted by so many elements all around you. Yeah, sure, you can have high quality people in your life, but obviously if you're going to keep going on social events, you'll get distractions. People talking to them about their lives, talking to them about their struggles, their problems. Obviously, it will not give you enough time to focus on what's within. And being able to just sit down, pray, meditate, stimulating yourself with things that bring you so much passion and joy. That's what's gonna make you understand yourself, make you feel so great, and you just get a better sight of your life. And that is one of the best investments that you can ever do for your mental health. And that kind of gets us to our next point, mental health. Now, if done correctly, monk mode can be a very good way of improving your mental health. Now, a lot of people reported that they had reduced levels of anxiety, reduced levels of stress while they partake in this kind of routine. And it makes sense because they are investing towards themselves, right? They're literally fueling themselves with positivity, love, and they're doing exactly what they're looking for. They have all of the control that they want to do exactly what they desire. It just gives you better clarity, better focus within yourself. But you see, monk mode sounds ideal, right? Like I'm explaining all these things and you would be super down to partake in this journey. But it is damn difficult. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it has been quite a challenge to keep this up. Because obviously we are humans, right? Like, we're gonna be pretty sporadic in our emotions and our desires. Yeah, one day we want to feel like we want to be productive. We want to do absolutely everything to achieve our goals. And the next day we just don't want to do any of that. But monk mode encourages you to keep on living a certain routine systematically to get to wherever you want to get to as soon as possible, or at least in a fast-paced method. But man, you're taking on some heavy challenges when going through this monk mode phase. For example, of course, social activities can be draining. They can be a source of distraction. However, as humans, we need to interact with people. And going for such a long time, just focusing on being by yourself, or at least focusing only on your goals and neglecting the social aspect of it all, it can be quite a challenge. In many people's cases, even when they try to focus so much on their goals, they will still be communicating with others with a business intent in mind. Like, you might have clients, you might have employees, you might have an employer, you are still conversing and exchanging ideas with other people, but it's really not the same. Like, the idea of being with a client versus being with a friend. You can talk about anything with this friend, any struggles, any problems. You can externalize these thoughts. With a client, it's rigid. With an employee, you have to talk a certain way, and it's such a challenge to just remain in your own bubble, circle, and just focusing purely on your problems, your issues. It's good to exchange them with others. But of course, usually you'll be so head down focused on your goals that you will kind of neglect these problems. And sure, in a sense, no matter what position we are in, it is always great to vent some of our concerns and some of our issues going on in our mind. Ideally, yes, you just want to tackle your goals, screw your problems, put them aside, and do what you gotta do, but it's not that easy. Of course, like, monk mode sounds ideal, but we have to remember that we are humans, we have struggles, right? And this is how it leads to my next point. Finding self-motivation to get things done. Oh my God. Because everything pretty much revolves around getting to your goal, right? So your focus is on that goal. And what happens if, you're not feeling it, right? You're not feeling it working. You wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, I don't want to work. I don't want to do this. I want to get back to bed. That's the problem. You can't afford those. And I really felt it with this monk mode phase. I could not go a day without being productive in some sense, because that's pretty much 80 to 90% of my life. It's basically just that. It's basically just focus on what you gotta do. And if you're not doing it for the day, what else are you gonna be doing? Obviously, if you take a vacation day of some kind, hang out with people, doing some kind of activity of some sort, sure. But for the majority of the time, you'll be sometimes feeling burnt out. You've been exercising your mind so much, right? And then somehow, you look at that phone of yours, looks kind of nice, and the degeneracy comes through and you succumb to it. You start going to social media, you start scrolling, and you're like, what the hell am I doing? But obviously, like, most of the time, for most people that go through monk mode, especially for a long period of time, you'll realize that luckily this isn't something that lasts for too long. You have developed so much self-discipline and so much strength within yourself that you can easily succumb these little gaps, these little bumps of procrastination to your goals. Though these pleasurable activities can be definitely attractive, especially when you're exercising your mind so much. And speaking of pleasurable activities, one of the things that you kind of have to give up when you do this whole monk mode thing is girls, or the case if you're a girl, guys. What I mean by that is, of course, I'm not saying like, completely neglect them. Like, if you have a girl in your life that you really care about, no. Please remain faithful and actually keep supporting that relationship. What I am encouraging though is you should be purely focusing on your goals. You should not entangle that with getting to know girls, getting to know guys, because that's really already going to stack up a lot of things to focus on. Like, I sometimes see some friends of mine, they're focusing on their jobs and fitness, but also they're looking for a guy as well at the same time. And I can see them crumbling so easily because they're so overwhelmed. All it takes is that one douchebag, or a guy, girl, whatever, that's just going to play games with you, demoralize you, and make you feel really odd in the inside. So you want to avoid all that problem and really just focus on building your true value. And obviously, don't screw around and fool around with guys. Don't hook up. Don't do anything like that. This is so stupid. Why would you go ahead and give yourself these stupid instant gratification actions? Like, you're gonna wake up in the morning, you were just physical with the girl the last night, and then you're gonna tell yourself, yeah, I'm gonna go do my work. Are you kidding me? Obviously, you're not going to. Your dopamine receptors just had a blast, and suddenly you're going to tell it, go ahead and do some work? Really, bro? You sort of need to have some sort of control over your dopamine sensors. So whenever you're giving yourself these pleasurable activities, whether it could be sex, it could be drinking, it could be food, or anything of such, and then you give yourself this big daunting tasks, like lots of discomfort, well, obviously they're gonna clash and you're not gonna end up doing much work. So overall, monk mode is a special kind of routine. I'm not gonna say I recommend it for everybody, but it really depends on your case scenario. For example, let's say you're depressed, lonely, and you're really looking to target your mental health, looking to improve it as much as possible. Self-isolation might not be a good reason for you to take on this monk mode phase. Like, obviously it's good to focus on yourself, getting to know more about yourself, but it's also important to get to meet with people, meet with great and high quality people. But if you're a man or a woman that's looking to improve their fitness goals, their career goals, their spirituality goals, or just overall development of yourself or of another entity, then this might be the answer you're looking for. Monk mode might be one of the biggest recommendations that I will bestow to you, because it really gives results if applied correctly. So before you go, I'm gonna give you guys a bit of advice that I have learned by doing this routine. For example, monk mode sounds completely and utterly challenging. Like, it looks impossible. Like, the idea of quitting social media, the idea of just focusing like almost 12 hours every day to focus just on yourself, sounds like a huge challenge. But really, it is. At the very beginning, until later on it becomes a habit. Now, whenever I want to initiate monk mode, I barely have to give much effort to myself in order to achieve it. Because truth be told, that initial push was the only difficult part. Afterwards, it becomes pretty easy. So if it sounds daunting, just really give yourself this initial push, and eventually it'll become a habit, and just like any habit, it'll stick strong to you, because the happiness and joy you get out of progressing towards yourself is gonna stick, and you're gonna want to keep being productive. In order for you to be in monk mode, you have to enjoy what you're doing. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend you doing monk mode when you are trying to juggle jobs, trying to juggle things that you really don't enjoy. If you do not find any passion over those things towards what you're looking to do, then stop it. You can only work for so many hours on something you really truly believe in. Like, it requires insane amount of discipline. You're going to exert your mental strength throughout this whole period. So you want to make sure you really love what you're doing there. Another tip I'd say, and that kind of contradicts a bit the monk mode sort of mentality, but I would recommend that whenever you're taking these small breaks, these small kind of mini vacations, maybe taking a day off of some kind, always be with incredibly high quality people. I'm talking about your family, your brothers, your sisters that you bond really well with, or that best friend that you have. These are the kind of people that you want to stick with all the time. People that you feel like you gain energy from, and you take that energy and you put it back on that work. You put it back on those goals that you want to achieve. And one last thing, relapses are fine. Seriously, if you go monk mode and you've been working really hard for a couple of months, and then suddenly, you took a day and you realize that you've been scrolling through social media, or watching whole Netflix TV series, dude, that is completely fine. It is fine. Don't be hard on yourself. You're human. That's gonna be okay. That's gonna be okay to go through that. Now, if you do that repeatedly, then something's wrong. Like, you gotta fix that. But once in a while, that's completely fine. It's not gonna kill. It's worse to be hard on yourself than to let it slide, apologize to yourself, and just move on. That's it. So overall, monk mode can be a powerful but dangerous tool to use. So before you try out this method, really give it some thought and try to see if it really is applicable to your use case. And if so, I wish you the absolute best of luck. It's challenging, but if you're gonna do it, I'm just gonna say congrats. You're working really hard to become the best version of yourself, and that is amazing that you have this in mind. You should already be proud of yourself, to not be complacent and to try to do your absolute best to become the best version of yourself. Absolutely well done. Keep that up. And remember to also keep your life exciting.